Well, hi, I'm Danny Gonzalez, and this is IndustrialSage Headlines. The U.S. is doubling down on trade controls. So first, as of September 29th, any subsidiary that's 50% or more owned by an entity on the U.S. export blacklist, it's the entity list, is now automatically blacklisted as well. The entity list is a list of foreign individuals, companies, and organizations that the U.S. government believes are involved in activities contrary to U.S. national security or foreign policy interests. So this closes a prior loophole that firms used to access U.S. tech through offshore branches. Secondly, the Commerce Department has launched Section 232 investigations into imports of robotics, industrial machinery, and medical devices. Now, Section 232, which is part of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, allows the government to evaluate whether certain imports pose national security risks and recommend tariffs or restrictions if warranted. No new duties have been imposed so far, but the combined effect is greater regulatory uncertainty. Manufacturers planning capital investments using imported equipment must now prepare for potential delays or cost increases. If tariffs are applied, U.S. producers could benefit and import-reliant firms may face pressure. And over the longer term, these policy moves could drive more domestic capacity and reinforce supply chain resilience, especially in strategic tech sectors. Robotics is in the middle of a capital surge. Globally, startups have raised over $6 billion through mid-2025, signaling investor conviction that automation is entering a new phase. Here are just some of the standout deals. Figure, which we talked about last week, raised over $1 billion at a $39 billion valuation. Brightpick secured $155 million to scale its AI-driven warehouse robots. Field AI pulled in $405 million, reaching a $2 billion valuation with its physical AI software that lets robots operate in unpredictable environments. And Apptronik raised $350 million to scale its Apollo humanoid robot for industrial and logistics settings. Across the Atlantic, Unchained Robotics brought in 8.5 million euros to expand its deployment software. So together, these investments really are illustrating how capital is fueling faster R&D, global growth, and the integration of robotics into factory floors, warehouses, and beyond. For manufacturing and logistics leaders, the message is clear. Robotics isn't just advancing, it's accelerating into the mainstream of industrial operations. The Dallas Fed's latest Texas Manufacturing Outlook survey shows activity has slowed in September. The general business index fell to minus 8.7, so production slipped and new orders moved into negative territory. Texas is often a leading indicator for U.S. industries, so this signal matters. Demand is softening as companies take a cautious stance heading into fourth quarter. Some respondents noted that supply chains are stabilizing, and while input costs remain elevated, there was a notable detail in the data prices for finished goods, and that's they trickled down a little bit, very slightly. It's a potential sign that inflationary pressures may be easing on the consumer end. Expectations for the future remain cautiously optimistic. The future production index is still solidly positive at 31.6, though it's down from 40.4. And the general business activity index, while falling 16 points to 8.4, remains above water. So we'll continue to wait and see and kind of watch this data closely and prepare for opportunity as conditions hopefully improve and shift over the time. In positive investment news, Brazilian industrial firm WEG announced a $77 million expansion of its specialty transformer plant in Washington, Missouri. The project will boost capacity by 50% by 2028 and add about 50 new jobs, while also bringing automation upgrades to the line. The investment is being driven by surging demand from AI data centers, electrification projects, and the need for grid reliability. For the U.S., this is a strong example of capital flowing back into domestic manufacturing, and that shows how digital transformation and energy demands are fueling new growth in traditional industrial sectors. Now, on that note, the U.S. nuclear power supply chain just gained a boost. The nuclear company has announced a new partnership with steelmaker Nucor to evaluate NQA-1 certified steel and other infrastructure needed for large-scale reactors. This collaboration targets one of the most strategic areas of domestic manufacturing, clean nuclear energy. By pairing Nucor's steelmaking expertise with the nuclear company's reactor technology, the partnership aims to strengthen U.S. capacity to produce critical components, reduce reliance on foreign suppliers, and support long-term clean power generation. For the industrial sector, the implications are broad. This deal creates new demand for heavy materials, advanced fabrication, and skilled labor, while also reinforcing the role of manufacturing in powering America's energy transition. Earlier this month, the U.S. celebrated National Manufacturing Day, a reminder of how vital modern manufacturing is and the career opportunities it creates. To celebrate, we here at IndustrialSage are proud to introduce a brand new series called American Makers. This series spotlights the people, ideas, and innovations shaping manufacturing across the country. From the shop floor to the front lines of technology, we're bringing you the stories behind the products and the people who bring them to life. Today, we're featuring the very first episode in the series highlighting Blastek, an industry leader in shot blasting technology.
There's a really lot of cool manufacturing that's going on in America all around you if you just walk outside and look.
American Makers isn't just a label, it's a movement. We're shining a light on the companies, people, and craft behind American industry. Rooted in Cumming, Georgia, Blastek is more than a manufacturer. They're a backbone for the community.
Here at Blastek, we make custom engineered shot blast systems for the steel finishing industry. Shot blasting systems descale steel products, whether it be heavy equipment, plate steel, structural steel, bridge girders, so that it can be finished, whether it's direct to metal paint or powder coating or any other kind of finish. Before you put that finish on it, it has to be clean. We serve a lot of the infrastructure industries, heavy equipment people, automotive, hospitals, buildings, construction, energy, wind towers, rail cars, military, Department of Defense. If you have steel and you have to clean it before you put a finish on it, you would use our equipment in your process. This is the heart of all of our machines. This is what's doing the work, is throwing abrasive using centrifugal force, propelling it like high-li to mechanically descale the surface. Basically cleaning it at a very high rate, very efficient manner versus having to do it manually. If you had to do it by hand, it would take you a very long time to do this. Here we're primarily doing fabrication work. After we've designed the equipment, we release it to production, and production kicks it out to manufacturing, where we have material handlers, we have burn table operators, formers, but also fabricators, welders that are basically fitting up all this equipment, welding it out, and then painting it. So there's a lot of skilled work that goes into what we do in order to ship out our products. Main materials that we use here are predominantly steel products. Plate steel, structural steel, pipe steel, all of that is sourced here in America. Most of it is here locally as much as we can, so it's supporting our local supply chain as well as our suppliers throughout the country. We've had suppliers for over 40, 45 years. They know us, we know them, they're all over the country, and it's a lot easier knowing that we have them to rely on in order for us to build our product for our customers. The tangible benefits of supporting American manufacturing are shorter lead times, making deliverables, controlling schedules, adapting to disruptive changes in the supply chain, supporting our employees and their families, supporting our communities, supporting American growth and sustainability. It's basically helping to ensure that the American dream stays alive. One of my hopes for the future of the industry is that not only does it continue to grow, but to get more young people involved into the manufacturing industry here, more technical vocational education programs to help young people get exposure to manufacturing. Being able to produce something, being able to have a skill, I think is important, and it's important to sustain that here in America to help our country grow and prosper.
And that was just the beginning of American Makers. Each episode will showcase a new company making an impact in American manufacturing. If you know a business that deserves to be featured, we'd love to hear from you, and you can catch this full episode and others as they are released at IndustrialSage.com. And that does it for today's Industrial Sage Headlines. I'm Danny Gonzalez. Thank you for watching.